name is Tyler Sutter. This clown is Carl Skeens. We are the 20 Penny Circus. We specialize in entertainment for people with questionable taste.
Yeah, if you like grungy circus, vintage vaudeville, full frontal male nudity, then our show's the show for you. I grew up in a performing family. My dad's a magician, mom's a dance teacher, sister was a showgirl. They raised me from a really young age to be a performer. If I would have done something reputable, like become a doctor or something, they probably wouldn't have been all that on board with it. I bounced around Orlando doing shows and got a job at the Theater Magic at Universal Studios, and that's where I met this kid.
Got out of high school and I started working at this year-round haunted attraction in Orlando, Florida, and there's a magic shop right next to the haunted house. And so on my off time, I would always sneak next door and open up some of the magic books and start reading about sleight of hand kind of magic. And someone passing by gave me a business card with a phone number on it, and I called the phone number, and it happened to be a gentleman who owned a magic shop inside Universal Studios. And this guy took me under his wing and started teaching me magic while I was working at the magic shop. And during that interim time is when I met him. So we met, and I already had a show booked that was kind of too big for my britches. And so I invited him onto the show to try to do a two-person show and kind of fill the stage out and make it more of an event. And so we did that first show together, and everybody loved it. They thought we were like brothers, and they kept mentioning like, oh, you guys must have been performing together your whole life. Needless to say, it was our first show together. Everything in that first show was scrapped. We were like, all right, we did these 3 shows together. People liked it, it was cool. We blamed all of that on our stage chemistry. So we immediately scrapped that whole thing and kind of went to the drawing board. And at this time, we did this thing we call the lockdown. There's a 4-day time period where we just had a bunch of beer, other substances, and a notebook and a Sharpie. And we just started coming up with different stuff. He had other things under his belt that he wanted to bring to the table, and so did I. So we would take a magic trick and kind of split it in half. So I would do half, he would do half, and it would be more of a cohesive trick with both of us on stage. And so in this 4-day lockdown, we went in, we closed the door, we locked it, started drinking beer, started writing stuff down on note cards, and 4 days later we emerged from the lab, and we had the makeup on at that point. And this is where we started developing our rules. Our biggest rule is you're not allowed to see magic. So you go to a magic show and a guy has a borrowed quarter, right? And he'll take this quarter and he'll place it into his hand and it vanishes, right? You're not allowed to see that in our show. Instead of making the coin vanish, you have to destroy it. It has to be inside of the framework of reality. And so when we made that rule, we still wanted to do magic, but we had to figure out a way to make the magic look like reality.
We're not trying to, I don't want you to experience a sense of wonder like you would at like a David Copperfield magic show. We want you to experience all the other feelings that you don't get to experience with normal forms of entertainment. I want to make you uncomfortable. I want to make you think about crap that you didn't think, you thought you were going to a comedy show. You know, like I really just want you to question things, and also question what the limits of the human body and just civilization are in general.
Almost everything that we do has some kind of element of danger behind it. Sword swallowing is definitely super dangerous. Numerous people have died from sword swallowing. I swallow multiple swords, which makes it even worse, because if the sword's like scissor inside of you, you'll die. So, I mean, sword swallowing is definitely super dangerous. I have yet to be hurt sword swallowing. I've been doing that for about 3 years, and I have not been hurt sword swallowing. But, I mean, the danger is definitely there. It's more or less always being respectful of what you're doing. Like, fire, sword swallowing, it's as soon as you get complacent, as soon as you lose respect, as soon as you go, I do it 100 times, I got this. That 101th time is when you're going down.
But that's the nature of the beast with Danger X. as far as sideshow performers go, there's a really popular saying about fire eaters. You've either been burned or you're going to get burned. There's no in between.
The show that we have now is a great show, and we really love it, but it is not the show that, it's not the end all be all. And we'll never be able to make it there because we as like artists, I think we change our mind so much.
Complacency kills creativity.
Yeah, so we're always striving to make it better. We're always trying to up the ante on things.
The idea is write the show that you want to see. Don't write the show that you want to do. Don't write the show that you think people will pay for. You write the show that you'd have fun doing and the show that you really want to see. And if you enjoy doing it and you don't do it shitty, the audience will show up.
Yeah.
And we wrote the show for us, and we're just really lucky that everyone has had a reasonably positive response to it. Honestly, we're never gonna be that awesome again unless like only in club scenarios like that can we be that kick-ass. But for those 400 people in that venue, we're the most badass motherfuckers you ever saw.